I'll edit it down so it only takes a few seconds. But there we go. Tundra.
Welcome everybody to the Poke Battle Network. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Devon Corp GG's last meta of their first season, and that's going to be the Tundra Cup. Today I am accompanied with Brown Baller, and him and I have been going through this entire season of Devon Corp's. Brown, how you doing today?
Ooh, man, that's a great question, Sosa. I am cold right now. It is the end of May, and this Tundra Cup has got me cold. I gotta put on a jacket, and I gotta put on my sweater, because we're about to get into a nice deep dive into this ice-cold meta.
Ice cold would be really nice right now, as it is up to the triple digits at my location, maybe already in my room. So you putting on that jacket and scarf just makes me want to perspirate more and more. Oh my goodness.
Just worst case scenario, just turn on your fan.
Just turn on the fan. All right. Well, speaking of fans, I am a fan of our guest today. He comes at us with a ton of meta developments, and it is so wonderful to have him around, as he's going to be help us take a look at the Tundra Cup, and that is MrDoctorPants. MrDoctorPants, how are you staying cool today?
Oh man, we have the window AC unit going, but also all of these ice types hanging around this meta, they're helping out a bit too. You got Glaceon in the corner there. Don't run Glaceon, but Glaceon's hanging out, so.
You never know. You never know. Who knows? I don't know what kind of moveset Glaceon has, but
that Icy Wind.
It's got Icy Wind. There you go. That's a good one. That's a good play. We'll find out if Glaceon's good, as we're going to take a look and talk more about the Tundra Cup. But I got to ask both of you, because the genetic cups was just so intense for sure. If we take a look at this, that last genetics, it was a complex intellectual meta. I wanted to get an idea from you two, as we are now finishing up May. How did you do during the run? What was your journey like in this month of May with genetics? Are you excited for the future of genetics?
The future of genetics, I mean, it's always evolving, dare I say that. But yeah, it's definitely, I love me some Sable Guy. Sableye is one of my favorite Pokemon to use. I think it's really strong. I think the ghosts were very, very underrated. I think, I don't know, what's it called? What was it? The parents? I found it very difficult to find a good parent. For Alligator, it was really strong, I felt like. And it's just a very, it's so different. It's very difficult. It feels like the centric bond was really the non-parent. It was such a reverse meta way of thinking. What are your thoughts, Dr. Pants?
I think I only played maybe one genetics, and it was like right before it was even like ranked. Like it was announced like a week or so before, the ranking starts for that. And I tried to make Venusaur work. Turns out Venusaur is not the answer. But I have watched a lot. I've looked through a whole bunch of different tournaments, practice, ranked, and teams, and I did see that while it started out, of course, being a more complex at the beginning of the meta, there's way more diversity in what you can choose. I think it did narrow itself down into like the hyper meta team would be for Alligator and Cofagrigus as your parents. The poison typing just didn't hold up as much, because your only really good poison option would be like Kanto Muck, and it just didn't pack enough of a Thunder Punch, if you know what I'm talking about. Thunder Punch just doesn't do enough damage on Muck to like for Alligator or Politoed or something. So it ended up being Cofagrigus for Alligator for that Shadow Paw to fight the other ghosts, and then that opens up your options for Sableye. A lot of different good water options for that other slot if you wanted to use another water type for that second child. But Sableye on most teams, and then things like Dragonite and the Alolan Sandslash showed up on most top performing teams as those mutation picks there. So
I found, what was it, the mutations? I found Shadow A9 and Bastion to be very, very strong. Also Skarmory to also be strong as well. Which made Shadow A9. If I didn't get Shadow A9 on Skarmory, it was pretty good. I thought Skarmory was just pretty tough. I mean, it's either you play Skarm or you play Bastiodon, which it just depends on your play style. Personally, I like Bastiodon, where you can just fast move beat down someone to death. Skarm's obviously a little bit more, you know, burb and dip stuff, so you're playing a more dynamic game. I want to play a very bulk and hard push of a game, so trying to, you know, play that out. I accidentally forgot to TM Flash Cannon off of my Bastiodon on one tournament, and I wasn't paying attention, and like I thought I was throwing a flamethrower, and I went ahead and Flash Cannon this Skarm for no reason. I almost lost, but I didn't.
At the end of the day, it's still Bastiodon on Skarmory, so I think you're going to be okay, right?
Yeah.
The Steel Wings do add up, which is really annoying for as a Bastiodon user, because I like having fun and playing Bastiodon. I think, but I did find, as you said, Venusaur, I found Victreebel very hard to run.
Yeah, just because, you know, the Skarmories and then something like especially Victreebel really doesn't want to get hit by a charge move, and so things like Sableye and Cofagrigus that just launch a lot more Coughing being able to like soak a little bit more of that damage and pressuring with bigger moves, and Sableye just Shadow Claw into Foul Play just will pressure that Shadow Venusaur or Shadow Victreebel more than Venusaur, but yeah. And of course Skarmory and Dragonite and Alolan Sandslash. So.
Yeah. It's very interesting to listen to you guys talk about it, because this is what I loved about this meta is I thought both of your ways were great, but I thought my way was the way to go. Because you're talking about a meta line, and I've never found a safer core than Feraligatr and Probopass. Because Probopass also gets the rest of those steals, and it just put on so much great pressure that I was able to draw out the fighters, and I put a Pelipper on my team, so like I definitely played around with it. Muck was there for those as well. I love the Muck. I thought Muck was my number one besides the Feraligatr and Probopass. Muck. What I loved about this meta is that you were allowed to play with so many great Pokemon, and it was actually, you thought it was going to be parent heavy, you thought it was going to focus on parent, and it wasn't. And so that's why I say it was like intellectual and complex, because you really came down to you, the trainer, and what you wanted to bring. Because I thought Poison was good too. Someone ran a Nidorina on me, and I saw Nidorina with Dig come out, and I was like, they're not bringing it. No way they bring it. And here came the Nidorina. Round one, came in hot, took out Slash with Dig. It was on Fuego. So it was a really interesting meta that people got to play around with, and I think it's going to be great because it is going to be for both Gym Breakers and Battle Frontier, part of their metas for those future months. So battlers are going to have great time still learning that meta, and I think it's going to be fun to interchange it throughout the time.
But you bring up a very interesting point for that Nidorina, because you know it's also very interesting is that dust that trainer spent on that Nidorina, it's actually eligible in this Tundra Cup too.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Bringing in the Pokemon. We've seen it before. Tentacruel has been real relevant in almost every meta it's allowed to play in. So it again comes in on this wonderful meta of Tundra. And let's get into this Tundra Cup. We are a little bit less of complexity and intellectual deep dive, little more into our typical typings and bands. As you see here, you can take a look and get some more information of the first look of the Tundra Cup in our video. The link will be down below. But if you take a look here, you got 5 typings that are pretty neutral. Some of them are kind of on top of each other, but there's no real RPS. A lot of them are more neutral typings here, and between you two, which typing really sticks out here?
The typing the same. So there was a side project that I personally did quite a few years ago that's always been on the back burner, and this particular spread of typings is, a cat just fell off the table. The particular spread of typings is very similar to something I had before, and it's always those like things that you can find subtypings through poison and ice. So ice, a lot of the time the subtyping is usually just like water. You think of Lapras and Dewgong are some of the top tier, or like Walrein and stuff like that. But you can find a couple more interesting things. Unfortunately, something like a Frostlass will be a little bit harder with the dark typing running around. But if you remember back to the Sylph days of not the Nightfall Cup, but the Arcana or Sorceress Cup.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dark type, like the dark poisons that you thought would beat Frostlass, but it turns out that Frostlass actually ends up outpacing and outdamaging with the Avalanche. So just because Frostlass is on a dark type does not mean it's over. So I think in most of these types of metas, if you can get that energy lead. So I'm going to go with ice typing here as probably my favorite.
Okay.
See, I think Mr. Dr. Pants is on the absolute right track here. For actually, here's a couple reasons. You know, typically, I'm going to say this: the meta developers do stuff for a reason. I might be wrong here. I've been wrong a lot, but let's be honest. This is called the Tundra Cup. What's that mean? Tundras are cold. It's going to be the ice types, baby. We're going to see these ice types shine. We do see, I think Frostlass personally, because I mean, this reminds me a little bit of Catacomb and Sorceress mixed here.
Yeah.
Those were actually my very first two metas that I played in Self. So it's the Tundra Cup. It's going to be the ice. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But you know what? Why would you name it the Tundra Cup?
I will say you guys are on a hot streak here calling that ice, but I'm gonna call the normal typing. I think the normal subs have a lot of play. Now, literally every single counter user has been banned. I think maybe some counter users that don't even get up to CP 115 are left in the meta. We are doing this pre-PV poke release, so we have not seen what the rankings are and where things are falling. So we are taking our first look here. So that's why I'm saying I feel the normals are gonna play. Now, doubles out, so you got another double kicker, another fighter out. Like, I feel that you're gonna deal with a lot of this normal oh my god, neutral damage. That's what I'm thinking of. Normal neutral damage has kind of been like their theme this year. It's either going to be spammy water types or normal neutral Pokemon. And I really like the normal typings. Granted, most of them are in the ban list as you see down below, but there are some great ones out there like Bibarel, that is a water gun user that you can definitely use. I was gonna say there's a Girafarig that's got the double kick. So if you're using it with genetics and it's got double kick, great there, especially if you're worried about the ice or the darks. Or if you want to change it up, have confusion. But definitely opportunity for normal typings to shine here.
Yeah. Maybe Mr. Dr. Pants might be able to answer this one. Okay. What is the difference between allowed species and ban exemption?
Allowed species are ones that we've airdropped into the meta. So like Gudra, Politoed, like these are all, the first three are all single type Pokemon, and then you have Relicanth and Gyarados, and none of their typings match up with the allowed type. So they have all been added. And then ban exemptions are Pokemon that, so like Scyther and Vespiquen, their bug typing matches the allowed types, but they would normally be banned because flying types are banned, so they're a ban exemption. So
I guess why is Relicanth and Gyarados on there twice?
Because they rock? Because of rock?
No, because of the flying and rock are both banned.
Yeah, because of fly and rock.
So those are the two I had a question on as well. I was about to say, I think the graphic could be cleaned up a little bit.
But here's the thing, because if
ends up making sense.
I say the same thing, but after genetics, right, where like there was not enough details in those first few graphics. This one here, someone might be confused, will be like, they'll see what's allowed and go, okay, Relicanth and Gyarados are allowed. And then see that flying and band are allowed and be like, okay, Relicanth and Gyarados are not allowed. So I think that's where the confusion is, because if without Relicanth and Gyarados, if you look at all the Pokemon down at the bottom, they either have a flying typing or a rock typing that would be banned. Well, so I think they're just trying to help clear up for anybody who doesn't understand how to read that.
I do think overall, something that we are working on backstage at Devon is clearing up some of these things so that it's less confusing on drop. So I do think this is a step up from genetic, but I also had the exact same question, and I had to look at it for like 5 minutes to figure out why it was worded that way. But it is something that's overall being worked on.
Cool. Yeah. Just to add on this graphic too, before we go into it, Citadel is also banned because of the new update. Low kicks and Citadel have been added to the original first updated ban because of the GBL update that's going to be hitting all of our Niantic battling scene on June 1st.
So the Pokemon I'm going to sad to see banned is Lotix because it's been always bad. Now it has a chance to be like less bad. I think it's still bad, but that doesn't mean I don't want to play it because it sounds fun. But I bet it's bad. Like,
I mean, I think I can say that the reason why Lotix is banned, which I believe is in the announcement, is just because of counter. The reason is not necessarily because counter makes it good. You will notice that counter is super effective against 3 of the 5 typings, but it's just to keep the whole meta uniform, and that there are, like, every counter user that we could find is taken out, right? That was that was the main consideration, not because it was going to be too strong, but because we want to keep everything like on par with the whole idea of the meta. So no counter, bye Lotix.
Yeah, and Lotix getting that new counter in this new update that's coming on. I like that too. Like, they're making sure that no counter is coming through. Nothing's gonna RPS this meta. They really, again, are getting us to enjoy these neutral quick attack, snarl, icy wind, powder snow, fast moves, like slow build up, helping battlers really understand energy generation, when to get a feel for throwing things, instead of just being like, I'll chunk you down and I'll farm you down and throw my energy then. There is no Lickitung, so we'll see if the tankiness of Lickitung comes out. They didn't ban Chansey either, and without counter there, Chansey's going to be running wild. So we're going to have to be on the lookout for that too. But we're going to get to you now and look at our Pokemon that we think you should be running here in this Tundra Cup.
Oh, why did they ban Chansey? No.
The first Pokemon I want to talk about is the Ice Thickness of Titan. This new Gen 9 Paldea Pokemon is coming in hot with the brand new Powder Snow that it was given in the update. Now, I had it with the Ice Shard. I thought it was great with the Ice Shard. Now you're actually giving it Powder Snow, one of the fastest energy generating moves in the game. We're talking with Body Slam, Spam, and Avalanche. Get out of here. Now you're going to be putting that neutral damage down and going to be hurting with that Avalanche. I absolutely love this Pokemon. I've been playing with it so many times. I wanted to bring it to regionals, but it didn't have any good fast move that I wanted. Now it's got the ice, the ice is Powder Snow, and I'm just here for it. It can take on whatever it can on the meta now that fires are gone and there's no steel or fighter to deal with it, so it is there. Gents, I don't have much information on this because PV Poke is not around, but with this thing here, like, I feel like my boy Sid Titan's just gonna slam everything.
I think it has the same moveset as Citadile, am I correct there?
Citadile,
that was banned?
yeah.
So, I mean, typically, I gotta give the meta team some credit. Typically, when they ban something, I'm assuming they ban it because there's a reason it was banned. So, I mean, I'm assuming maybe probably accessibility for Citadile, so you can't run 2 of them, but you can run 1. That'd be my guess. So, I mean, try and thinking of what the meta team gives you, and they're kind of giving you Citadile. I mean, sorry, C-Titan.
Titan,
boy,
yes.
Yeah, those are gonna be tongue twisters, but yeah, I mean, just going off context clues there, I that's something I really like to do, especially early in the metas, is try and give what the meta team has already developed, because they definitely have play tested and are intelligent when it comes to this kind of information. So I think it's definitely gonna be really good.
Yeah, and we all know that HP and tankiness really help Pokemon out here.
They really do.
Yeah.
that is definitely very helpful. Yeah.
Just the difference of Titan and Citadile. Citadile was 79 defense. Titan is 75 defense. Titan had a higher attack stat, but Citadile is 213 and Titan is 203 in HP. So looking at those stats, I'm pretty sure it's mostly because of accessibility and the fact you don't want to have 2 of these thick, big, heavy boys. I mean, that's just telling us again, like you said, Tank might come through. So I think Ice Tank is here, and Titan is going to be my first pick of the Tundra Cup.
Thinking of Zweilous. I mean, dragon damage looks very unresisted here. All the fairies are banned. All the what's it called? The steals are banned, and also the fact that they even added Gudra into the meta. So not Gudra, they added Gyarados and
Gudra.
And Gudra.
is it Gudra? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had Gudra.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking Gudra's the basic, but no, Gudra. Yeah. So I mean, they want some dragon damage to fight up against this. I mean, with the dark typing, I mean, you have always that fight of Guzzlord versus Zweilous. I'm going to pick Zweilous here because I don't have a good Guzzlord, and this is what I'm going to play instead. So I mean, is it going to be an ice dominant meta? Definitely. So just don't get the ice type on your Zweilous. You're fine.
That makes a lot of sense. I do like the Guzzlord. I know that it's available, and I like you seeing Gudra and Gyarados allowed. I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna be looking for dragon typing. Like, what's the new dragon normal that you didn't want to see?
Oh, Drampa.
Drampa?
Yeah. Drampa can play. I don't know what moveset it has, but I'm like, without
Dragon
counter
Breath.
out there.
Yeah.
Fly and something else. And guess who?
Yeah, I think dragon typing offensively sounds pretty good. As Baller stated, it's like pretty much unresisted. All of the things that resist it are banned. However, with ice typing being one of the premier types in the meta, it seems just a little risky to run. I feel like you just have things that can like out spam you with Powder Snow into Avalanche, like the Seditan. I think there's Frostlass might show up in the meta. Frostlass always shows up, even when dark types are prominent, as we talked about earlier. So there's that threat there. Just a lot of ice types. I realize Celio and Walrein are allowed in a meta as well. So Icicle Spear spam, not great for dragons. It just seems a little risky, in my humble opinion. But it is unresisted out there. So you have that sort of double-edged sword going on.
Yeah. No, I mean, sometimes no risk, no reward.
Yeah.
Good choice there, Brown Baller. I definitely like the idea you have when you see that they're bringing in Dragon Breath users, and you bringing it in as well. MrDoctorPants, what is your first Pokemon?
My first Pokemon is Vespiquen. So as one of the airdropped Pokemon in here, it has access to some of the typings that are banned, that being it can throw a rock type move and power gym, and it also has air slash if you want that flying type. I decided Fury Cutter X Scissor Power Gym over going for the air slash, just because I think the Fury Cutter spam to be able to throw out as many power gyms as possible seems really good in this meta. Another strong, any of the other strong bug types you might see, I think the main one you could look out for is going to be Beedrill, because it has Drill Run, which is another banned typing. So if you have a Pokemon that has access to a move that doesn't have stab on it, then you can run it, right? So Vespiquen having that power gym to be able to fight back against the bugs and the ice types, while the X Scissor can fight back against all of those dark types, and then just neutrally trying to fight its way through anything else. I think Power Gym can give you a boost as well, I believe, or is it just Ancient Power?
Ancient Power.
Just Ancient Poggers.
Ancient Poggers, that's what it is, yeah. But, I mean, still, being able to throw off rock-type moves pretty quickly, as well as X-Scissors got buffed a few patches ago, so I think Vespiquen's looking pretty good here as an airdropped Pokemon.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you mentioned the Beedrill, and whenever you see Bug and Dark and Poison, you usually think Beedrill's going to be numero uno to cover there. So when they airdrop the Vespiquen, because they're like, no, we need some rock pressure out there. If you don't want to do with the bee and want the queen, go get the queen and bring out the queen. Again, the developers understanding that battlers might want to play with different types of Pokemon or different play styles. So bringing that back in, that was great. That's real great. I like that. That's a good Pokemon, man. Brown, any suggestions on the Vespiquen, or do you not have 1 or 7 built already?
I have 1 built, and I have a very good one built. I'm pretty happy. I like using it. I mean, you could also have access to, was it Fell Stinger and Poison Sting? So, I mean, those will be very interesting. I think, again, if Pokemon's airdropped, it was airdropped for a reason. Probably, I'm assuming. I've been wrong a lot, but I mean, yeah. I mean, I think we're going to see flying is going to I think, help it quite a bit in this meta. Hopefully the ice type doesn't come to hurt the flying for it, but I mean,
You
I
can
think it's
fight
gonna be
that's why you give it power gem.
exactly. I think it's going to be it's very similar boat to a lot of the dragons. Just it's going to, you know, I think bug looks very unresistant. I'm not seeing too much that's resisting it, honestly.
Poison resist bug.
That's all I'm seeing really too. Yeah.
These are a great set of 3 Pokemon that we've got going in. Again, we don't know what the PV Poke rankings are. We are giving you our best look at this, and not gonna lie, like, all of them put on the pressure. They're all gonna get shield, and they all have a unique ability in which the meta is kind of asking you to bring forth, whether it is the ice typing or that dragon breath fast move pressure, or that bug that gets that that typing that you can't use in other subtypings. So there are opportunities here in these 3
forward mons, which is very, very good in my opinion. There's no like, you know, bait games you have to play, or like any sort of like, you know, try and do stuff. You can really control your energy and really use your battling skills, while also at the same time, you know, maybe playing to your play style. So I think these are very versatile mons that all battlers will feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Well, that's our first group of picks. MrDoctorPants, kick us off with our second group of picks.
My second pick here, I went kind of with the same idea. What's a Pokemon that has a like banned typing move? So counter being banned off everything. Most of the fighting type things that we see in the common OGL metas and stuff are banned. So here comes Beware with Shadow Claw to hit if you happen to see like a Frostlass. I know this is resisted by the normal types, but it's unresisted by 3 of the 5, so it's still a good move. And then you have Stomp, which is not the greatest move ever. Body Slam would of course be better, but the main reason here is Superpower. Being able to farm up, get some superpowers, launch 1 or even 2, and then dip out, I think could be really strong in this meta. If you happen to find yourself against a poison type or like a bug type or something that's going to resist a superpower, Shadow Claw dealing neutral damage to most of those too, and Stomp still neutral damage. So I think there's a little bit of play here with the superpower and dip move. So
I'll say that I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I always thought, oh, Beware, oh man, that meta made me realize the power of Beware. I never really appreciate it until that meta.
Absolutely.
Also you have the ability to have Drain Punch as well too. So I mean, you can use that as a bait. Which I think what was it? Sovereign. I faced a Drain Punch superpower Beware, and I was like, ha ha! I'm shielding the superpower, and I shielded a Drain Punch, and I was sad. I was really sad, but we'll have to see, you know, what moveset the trainer decided to put on here. But I mean, I was really, really sad.
You should be.
When that happened.
You should be sad when that happens. That doesn't always happen at all, if ever. You should be sad. No, Beware, once it came into the scene, has been a top notch, and you thought it was going to be a good fighter Pokemon against these normal typings. But you are debuffing yourself unless you're putting Giga Drain on, and then that's all you, or Draining Punch, and then you're getting guys like Brown Baller to bait to shield up a bait here. So that's great. So that's a wonderful Pokemon, especially when there are things that just you gotta take notes in these metas. They're banning all counter users. Clearly fighting typing is important here. Not just that they banned all counter users, they went after Dubwool too. Like, if you were like, oh, they banned all counter users, that's great, they just don't want counter because of the energy build. They went after Dubwool. Like, that right there shows how intricate and how important this fighting typing is. Because when you go after Dubwool, that big old sheep, one of the safest swaps in the game, that three double kicks and you got your body slam, 4 and you wild charge, like, that it says something about a meta, and that's where you got to pick up. So fighting that in superpower, great job. Great job with the Beware. I like that. I like that a lot. Brown, do you have anything like that that's going to pull up some fighting moves or something special or spicy for your second pick?
I do not, but I mean, let's just go with the Pokemon that's good in every meta. I mean, it's Frostlass. You can play, it's good in every meta. I mean, up energy, Frostlass is one of the most unstoppable Pokemon that there is.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic lead. You're never going to complain about that. The other thing is you do have access to the Shadow variant, which are allowed in this meta. You also have access to Triple Axle as well. I know some people say Triple Axle is not the move. I say stop me. But once you reveal Triple Axle, your opponents will know. So, I mean, it does take a little bit of that shield pressure of the hard-hitting Avalanche away. It won't be as fast as your Titan there. But, I mean, Frostlass is just the only thing that resists the ice and ghost moves are the Litleo line and Babero line. And
Crawdon.
And the Crawdon line, yeah. That might be it.
Well, Litleo's banned, so
yep.
Fire's banned.
And
Out for Bibero, though.
Careful.
oh, return.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Would
you also
you-
have return on Frostlass.
I was gonna say, are you gonna suggest return on Frostlass for
You have a whole team
battlers?
of return.
I know. I love my return Pokemon. I don't even know if return Frostlass is Great League eligible still.
Oh yeah, that's true. We'll have to find out.
But who cares? That's
cares?
not gonna stop me
It's a
from
great-
verifying it.
Yeah. It's a great
What?
Pokemon to have, and absolutely a monster to battle with too. With Powder Snow being a great energy generating fast move, like that's why their ban's happening because it's so good. And then of course Shadow Ball just being, I think in my opinion, one of the best moves in the game. Like everybody's afraid of Shadow Ball. You gotta shield it. Even in VGC, if you hear the word Shadow Ball, you're like, give me the shield. Don't be super effective, please. Gengar beware.
Yeah, and just Shadow Ball's just ability to hit so hard, even in neutral situations, is just insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agree with you. But Frostlass is a great Pokemon here. So it's interesting your core, and we'll talk about your guys' core after I reveal my third Pokemon, because your guys have some really nice, interesting duos together. But I do have to copy both of you with the ice and with that normal typing that needs to have the fighting move, because you guys are absolutely right here. Furret with that brick break and dig with quick attack is going to put so much pressure down. And if I'm not mistaken, it is the only normal typing that has a fighting move that doesn't debuff itself. It actually debuffs its opponent. Where superpower is debuffing yourself, close combat is debuffing yourself, you are now giving brick break. Nah, it's not going to hit that hard. But if you can start debuffing and start debuffing and start debuffing, because remember, it's not like they've got counter against you either. So what's going to come after that real tanky, real thick Furret? Not a whole lot. Now, you can have quick attack, you can have hyper beam on it. That is your call. I prefer dig just to put that pressure down on those poisons, because I think poisons are going to play a lot better than what we're giving them. I love the Furret. I think Furret is great because of this new updated brick break. And I think after Sovereign Cup, seeing how well it can do and how well it could run away like a Talonflame, just start building and building, gives it all the more play in a meta where they literally went after fighting typing.
Fighting moves is always going to be key. I think it's definitely you're gonna be able to play it a lot differently than you used to. Be able to use you can actually use its brick break tactically to debuff the opponent in a certain situation, being shields up and being forced to shield a bad move. Which, I mean, that's if you force your opponents to shield bad moves, you win games. That's just straight up how it is.
Yeah. And this Pokemon can do that, especially when you can build up. You've got quick attack now, that new quick attack. I like it. It's just so much fun to play with. And another reason why I like metas like this, where they're like, okay, counter is out. Normals can have some fun. Bring out that normal typing. Bring out those Lickitungs, those Drampas, those Furrets. I would like the Miltank to have come through, but I get it. You don't want Miltank. Whatever. Dunsparce would have been fun to tackle there, but I get it. But yeah, this is just a fun meta again, where they just allow the typings to go deeper now. You're not using the meta Pokemon that you see a lot of and that we're over with. And again, with that grassroots, being able to dig, because there are 1,000 type plus Pokemon out there. We shouldn't just have to have 20 Pokemon built and only care about 20 Pokemon. We should be able to play with the fun stuff. And guys, I love your picks. So this Tundra Cup is going to provide that sort of fun for everybody. MrDoctorPants, let's get into your 2. I want to talk about your core real quickly. Give us what your core is going to do, the summary of your core.
Yeah, so looking at Vespiquen and all like the bands, so Vespiquen's main thing to look out here for would be like an ice type, even though you again can hit back with Power Gem, but Vespiquen's main issue is going to be ice types here. So pairing it with finding something with fighting type damage. I really, I wanted to go Girafarig, except for the dark types, it's just not gonna work out. So going for Beware to have more of that consistent. Being able to damage by, Shadow Claw with anything that's neutral, Stomp with anything that's neutral, then Superpower is a very threatening move. So finding something to take down the ice types, went for Beware there.
That's a good combo. Good coverage there to protect each other. Yeah, I like it. Brown Baller. I know these two are a little chilly. You want to tell us why you chose these cold Pokemon?
Oh, Frostlass, it's just been there for me all these metas. It's been so good. It's always I find it very difficult to beat. A good Frostlass player is basically impossible to beat. I wish I was a good Frostlass player. I'm a decent Frostlass player. I've seen some really, really good Frostlass players before. And also it's wireless. I mean, Frostlass and wireless really are pairing the two things I love. It's basically kind of like taking Sableye and breaking it apart. I have its Ghost and I have its Dark. Sableye is still eligible, so I mean Sableye is just the mon I rely on all the time in every single meta. But I mean this is basically taking a Sableye and now turning it into 2 Pokemon here.
Nice.
So I think those two typings just cover each other very well.
Cool. And we all love our safe swaps, and Sableye's did really good for your genetics. So yeah, that's good core pair. Myself, I went with Tank, I went with Health, and I'm coming for your shields. That's all it is. I'm going to spam body slams. I'm going to spam brick breaks till you are forced to shield that second brick break in your defense debuff. Do you understand? I'm coming for you, and I'm coming hard. These Pokemon that I chose want your shields, and they want it, and then I'll have whoever in the back to help spam and destroy. But that's what I like about it. You guys, we've been talking about it with you two all night tonight about how you've got to put that pressure down, find that fighting, read what the meta is trying to tell you. Dragon Breath being good, Ice being a pressure thing, the fighting type getting banned. So there's gonna be pressure there. There's gotta be something here. There's a reason the airdrops are in. So I went with this. I went anti-flyer because there were so many flying that were allowed. And I believe they did that so that you could put more pressure down on the bug, because most of those flying do have access to a flying move. But then I've got my little brick break user here that could just put that pressure down and debuff the Pokemon, and so the rest of my team can come in and just clean up, farm down, and feel good about the rest of the matchup. What's up?
Yeah, I like how we have many unique mons here, which I think is. I wish we only have 6 mons, which I mean, I wish we had more. Like, imagine if we had 12 we could bring. Like, show 12, pick 3.
Show 8, pick, or ban 2, pick 3.
I love those metas.
8-6-3 for this meta. Imagine an 8-6-3 for genetics. Oh. Well, we won't go into that. That's a thinker for later. But yeah,
to get one of those tournaments going as well.
Oh, that'd be fun. We could talk to Flash for everyone, because they always provide those Flash tournaments. But yeah, they're very unique Pokemon. Again, Devon Corp's bringing us in their final meta of this season another wonderful meta where you can pick Pokemon from wherever. Again, we don't know where the rankings are for this. I'm pretty sure it's going to be down in the 20s or 30s or 40s, but you never know. You never know where Vespiquen's going to land, but Vespiquen is not supposed to be a ranked Pokemon. It's a plugin, so it's there for a reason. It is protecting for something. So that's what these metas are. That's what they do. They flush these out because maybe you need that Vespiquen to fill that slot and to protect against some airdrop flyer and bug core combo, and then the rest of your Beware and Guzzlord go crazy. That's my take on this 6 and this meta of Tundra and this cup. As we're closing up this meta, I'd like to get your final thoughts, Mr. Kitty, of this meta and our 6 picks. What did you think of all that we've talked about?
Yeah, I think this meta...
Dr. Pants, we're asking Mr. Kitty.
Oh,
You can
sorry. Here,
please
let me...
bring the actual Pokemon analyst back, please.
I think he knows that you're asking for him to be on camera because all of a sudden
Great.
he doesn't want to be anywhere near me. So
Great. Now we can't get that top tier analysis.
oh, he came back.
Okay, Mr. Kitty. All right, Mr. Kitty, what are your final thoughts on the
What are your
Tundra
thoughts,
Cup?
buddy? Do you have anything to share? He's saying that I think a Pokemon we might have overlooked is Armaldo, which you'll notice in the bottom corner there. Similar to Vespiquen, but yeah, doesn't have the flying typing added, has rock typing. Could be good, could be bad, but I think we might be overlooking Armaldo, and I think this is a meta where it's going to depend on the number of players. So for each different community, I know Flash hosts a lot of tournaments for these. I don't know how many other communities. I just hang on at Flash, but I'm sure there are some. And I think within each community, you're going to see a different version of the meta evolve, because I think there's very many ways this could go. Another one that is not on this graphic, but it's Dark and Poison typing. Skuntank has now Trailblaze, which I already talked about how funny I think Trailblaze is. But Skuntank has Trailblaze, which is going to hit the water ice types. And then it has Flamethrower, which is a banned typing, which hits the ice types and the bug types, as well as it neutrally hits a lot of other things. A lot of poison types will also probably be bug type, like Scolipede or Beedrill, so you can hit those. I think if you see a Tangrowth, I don't think you will see Tangrowth, but you could destroy a Tangrowth. The only thing Tangrowth have is it does have Ancient Power. So Vine with the Ancient Power, maybe, but you're still going to lose to the bugs. So, but I think, yeah, Armaldo and Skuntank are 2 more to look out for.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Mr. Kitty actually said something else. If I was listening correctly, Mr. Kitty, I heard Perugly and Persian.
You didn't hear Furfru?
No, I did not.
I heard Fro. I was about to say, I heard
Wait,
Fro.
is it Furfru a dog?
Fro and Sand. Hey,
Furfru's
dogs
a
and cats can be
dog.
friends. Dogs and cats can be friends.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Kitty wants to see people run his colleagues in Perugly and Persian. I think those are some of the cat Pokemon log. Maybe, a 6 times cat team might be very interesting here.
You could run, there's 2 Eevees.
They're
and level 50
Glaceon and Umbreon.
Level 50 Eevee.
Delcatty is the one I was thinking of with Charm.
I have actually seen that one in a...
And is that actually might be the one with Aerial Ace as well? Does Delcatty got the Aerial?
Wild Charge, Starring Voice, and Charm.
Okay.
And I actually have a rank 1, like level 49 Delcatty.
Yeah. Mr. Kitty's on something here. Dr. Pants, you're not listening right. Brown Baller, you're on it. Brown Baller, you got it.
Is totally on something right here, and it's not the catnip.
No, it's not. Not this time. Maybe later.
So, but in all seriousness, though, what I will actually say is, I think the Ice Waters are gonna be really strong. The more what they're just saying, the more I realize how strong my Shadow Lapras and Dugong are in this meta. I think they're very, very underrated, and they're gonna be strong, to be honest.
Yeah. I agree with you on those Ice Waters. I like this meta. We've already heard my last final thought there on it. But as we keep talking about more and more Pokemon that we didn't talk about and all these that we didn't see, Like if we're really gonna bang on ice water, then that Relicanth could actually really shine super hard, because with water gun and that rock typing being allowed to play is going to give it that kind of pressure. But we'll have to find out as the meta grows and as you grow, because Dr. Pants, you nailed it. This meta is gonna shift for your locals, for your community. So if you have a community that you are battling in, that community might be playing differently than those that Flash, and I love seeing that all the time. When I play in Flash for Everyone, there is so many different battlers going down, so many different Pokemon going down, and then all of a sudden, I'll go and play in Paltown PvP, and I will never see all those Pokemon that just whoop me so hard, and I'll prepare for something else, and then all of a sudden, those Pokemon will whip me, and I'll be like, what happened? So you really got to play with your community, because again, what Devon is doing is they're allowing trainers to play with Pokemon that they want to play with. So this is a wonderful, wonderful meta, and I'm so grateful for them to do this. And you guys, Nate, said all the points right, and this should be super fun.
Yeah, and as we said last week, grab a friend, grab some nice loaves of bread that are the heels of the bread that might be stale. Make some nice peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with the loaves of bread. Have a good old time with.
So it's so funny because I just got back from Los Angeles and we drove out and I bought fresh bread for it because my bread was stale, and I was like, Mudkip, I'm not gonna give you stale bread. I'm not a bad friend.
Wait, what do you mean bad friend? That's a great friend.
No way. But yes, grab your friends, get to your local Discord groups, and try to get your friends together. In my local, there's 3 of us that play, including myself, that just play together, but we have had a great time this season, and I'm excited to say that next season is going to be even bigger because we're going to get more battlers coming on. So I'm just so thrilled with what's happening here. But get your friends and make sure you grow in your community, because this is definitely going to be that community pick. So Titan might work in my meta, in where I'm at, because one of the guys would run a sweet coon on me, but Titan ain't gonna work in Flash for Everyone, where I know someone's gonna bring a Relicanth and Armadillo. So that is something for you guys to be out there while you're building your teams, and hopefully the 3 of us have given you some good Pokemon to think about. If there's anything you'd like to see from Brown Baller or Mr. Dr. Pants, be sure to check out all of their links down below. Dr. Pants, being a developer, works on many different metas, loves breaking down and creating metas. His stuff can be found on Twitch and YouTube. And then Brown Baller making his climb and his run. Will probably make his new run to the new season of GBL for Legendary here on Twitch. So be sure to click on all of those and get a good... You know what? We're not going to tell you to get a good cooking tip. Get a tip on what maybe not to do with Brown Baller, or maybe how to cook cheaply with Brown Baller. Save everything you can on all of his YouTube cooking videos there.
Yeah, I just got a pineapple from the store recently, so we're going to make a part 2 video for how to cut a pineapple without a quarter.
There it is, folks. Thank you all.
Actually, the best part. So I was at a party with my friends and I couldn't find the video, but I knew how to cut the pineapple because I made that video, but I couldn't show my friends the video because I didn't know where it was. But at the same time, like, it's going to be a success. Like, this pineapple, though, I hope it's not overripe.
There's only one way to find out. You got to cut it open.
Got to cut it open.
Find the biggest knife possible, cut it, and just what's the worst that happens?
You're gonna be the talk of the town, buddy. Get all that pineapple and you're gonna be talk of the town. Oh man, well, good luck out there to you battlers as we are gonna wrap up the final meta of Devon Corp's GG. Be sure to do your ranks and submit them, as they are gonna be closing up the rankings at the end of June. Thank you everybody for watching the Poke Battle Network. I am SosaFlo, and like always, keep on battling.